Some people try to get really, really technical about that. It's a gray line. Value of a small business only if the family owns and controls more than 50% of the business, and the business has 100 and fewer employees. You don't have to include it. So if the family owns more than 50% and they have less than 100 employees, don't put that on the FAFSA. These investments pieces, especially if they put a farm on there, that's going to jack that EFC number way up, and then the student's not going to qualify for relief. So once you're completed with the FAFSA, it'll give you a page that looks like this. You've entered which school the student plans on attending. What happens next? Then there should be like a link in this little area that says start your state application. It's a portable screenshot. And then it'll give you your EFC. So it'll tell you how much Pell Grant you qualify for and how much federal staff you qualify for right after that. You'll want to click on the link that says go to your state application, and that's where you'll start qualifying for each state application. So the FAFSA has a lot of names. It's the FAFSA to a student, then they get a SAR, which means it's a completed FAFSA. Then the college gets an ICER, which is the FAFSA, just an institutional student information report. So those three can kind of be used interchangeably. With the student, we try to use the word FAFSA all the time. So if you ever hear the word ICER from a school, they're talking about the FAFSA. Students will receive a copy of their SAR once they're completed with the FAFSA, so they're completed FAFSA, student aid report. They'll receive it via email or in postal mail if they didn't include an email address, which 99% of the time student includes their email address on the FAFSA unless they have no access to email, to which they have to fill out a paper FAFSA and send it in. It'll give them their EFC, their DRN number, and gives further instructions if there's any further instructions needed. The DRN number sometimes helps if the student didn't put a school on their school code. A school can use that DRN number to pull a FAFSA from the system and get it quicker than a student doing that and putting their school code. Any questions so far? Okay, verification. So roughly, the feds say about a third of all students are selected for a process called verification. This is just a process so that colleges and universities are required to verify that the information on the FAFSA was filled out correctly. So it does require students and families to provide sometimes a lot of extra information. So we really need to worry about verification melt after students complete the FAFSA. So when you have a FAFSA completion percentage of 100%, then you need to really worry about the verification melt. Which students, what schools need additional information. I believe if they're signed up for FAFSA completion or the 5-step process, they'll get a report from their ADA.
Every school and state gets the report.
Every public school and state gets the report. Every public school and state gets the report, and it does include if the student was or was not selected for verification.
And then we'll be getting codes as well. So you know what the error might be.
If a student is selected for verification at one institution, are they selected at all?
Yes. Yeah, so it follows that FAFSA. So they're going to have to provide one school all the information that they're requiring, another school all the information they're requiring.
So we should tell them, like, make copies of the video.
Yes. In case they decide to transfer them here or anything like that. Yeah. But it's a pain for them to try to get that information again. A lot of times schools don't want to give them a copy of something they've already given them.
What are the additional documents usually?
So first and foremost, it's a verification worksheet. That's going to ask for names, ages, and whether or not people in the household are attending school and what school they're going to. It'll also ask additional information, child support paid. And I think that's it. They will not ask for a tax return. They will ask for what's called a tax transcript from the IRS. So students have to fill out what's called a 45-016. Request the tax transcript. The tax transcript gets mailed to them, and then they have to provide a copy of that to the college. They only have to do that if they don't do the link from the IRS. So if they do the link from the IRS, they'll never have to get that tax transcript. That's why that's such a key piece if we can get every student to do that, that saves so much in the process. If they're a victim of identity theft or something crazy like that, then a tax return will be acceptable, as far as we know right now. Other documentation, maybe bank statements or anything like that. There's homeless documentation that students need, something to prove dependency.
Is the verification thing, is it essentially random, or is it pulling students who, for example, said yes, that they are parenting their child? You know what I mean?
Feds won't tell us.
It's a risk. I mean, from an audit perspective, it's a risk.
So-
Which one they're risking.
Trying to talk about what the impacts were of the verification. I had a source of how they were selecting students for verification, and there's not really, it doesn't appear to be any rhyme or reason, but low-income students are disproportionately affected. So we have students that are showing a very low at EFC, and yet they're getting selected for verification to further prove that they don't have any money, which they're least likely to also go through and verify and provide those documents. So that means what this is saying that we need to pay attention to those verification students, particularly your low-income students, because those are the ones that are really going to get frustrated when they're asked to pull all these documents together, and they are likely to have that happen, and we don't exactly know why. There's a lot of effort on the Hill trying to get some things done to align data sharing so that there's less burden on the student, but so far nothing is changing.
I think there's a lot, and I mean, this is a sidebar conversation, but there's a lot of things going on right now about to line it up with the tax returns, to look at this verification where it's almost like profiling. I mean, it's not, but that's what it feels like, right?
Programs that are already in place, why they can't share the
Why are they not sharing that data?
that kind of thing. We just eliminate
really
a huge
exciting
burden.
All right, any questions about the FAFSA before we dive into the awesome Iowa management application?
So, you said that if a parent, it's not an issue if a parent always provide tax information at daycare. So what you're saying is if a parent says, nope, I don't trust anything electronic, I don't trust I'm not giving any of my social security information out, I just, because of the fraud and all that, then you're saying that the child cannot get financial aid.
Only financially they would qualify for would be an unsubsidized loan.
And unsubsidized loan.
And the parent would still, probably based on institutional policy, would still need to sign something saying that they absolutely refused to authorize it.
Okay,
So
so-
it really hurts the kid.
And then the following year, they can be considered independent, and then,
Until they're 24, married, have kids, veteran, until they can answer yes to one of those questions.
like, if they started living on their own, this relationship at home is broken, they're providing for themselves.
Even if they own their own house. Even if they own their own house, if they can't answer yes to one of those questions, they need their
Like
parents'
a pretty
information.
broken system.
I was 20, had my own house, had to find my parents' income.
It's not broken.
That's some of the stuff that they're talking about in the bill, is looking at. It doesn't, America doesn't look like this anymore, right? Two home income, both parents living together, everyone's saving, it just doesn't look like that anymore, and that's what everybody is being judged. Yeah.
I don't know, I guess if you have suggestions like, yes, encouraging all students to apply, but I feel as though some students are going to come back, oh no, my family makes too much money, or like, so what is,
Never know.
right?
Scholarship.
That's true.
Like
That's true.
institutional, any merit-based scholarships, like.
Okay.
And federal loans, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the merit-based scholarship is not based on the FAFSA.
No, but like most, like won't ISU require you to complete the FAFSA to consider you for institutional aid?
I don't believe that's true.
Some schools do. Some of the private schools will require you to complete a FAFSA because.
There's a blanket statement.
And like this last dollar scholarship, there's no EFC requirement, so they can't be reading too much.
The conversation I had with our students in May was, when you go home, because I had our students apply for their FSA ID in May, And they sent emails home to their parents and said, here's the link, you need to get your FSA ID now too. And I said, it's up to you to go home and make your parents do this. And a lot of your parents will say to you, oh, we're not doing that because we make too much money. And most of the time, that's a true statement. This is not the statement for Gear Up. They get the money regardless of how much money their parents make. And so they are truly held hostage by their parents getting that FSA, that FAFSA done. So if they want that money year after year, they need to understand that they are accountable for this process, not their parents.
And for your information, Future Ready Iowa Scholarship is not based on income. So even now or in the future, your students, if they're going into a high demand job and going to a community college, they'll be eligible for that scholarship. It doesn't make any difference how much money you make. So, and you're right, thank you for bringing that up. The Europe scholarship, the only way you can apply is to apply that.
That's the FAFSA. After the FAFSA, you have that option to go to your state application. So I just briefly want to go over what that looks like so that you guys are prepared when you're working with your students. There's the link for your state application, and then it'll pop up that little blurb saying, hey, you're going away from the FAFSA webpage, you're going somewhere else. That's okay. We'll go to Iowa College Aid processing system. Again, college changes everything. This is our initial page of the application. You'll choose which academic year, and that's the academic year that they're going to be attending college. There'll be an undergraduate student for all of your students, so you'll click that top box.
When will that be updated?
It'll be updated on October 1st.
Okay.
Yep. It'll be right in line with the FAFSA.
Yeah, okay.
This is kind of what it looks like on the step 2 page. As you see on the top, step 1 was telling us what year you're going to college and whether you're undergraduate or graduate program. Step 2, we ask for additional information, and then we'll get to step 3 next. So we ask what their high school status is. Will they get a high school diploma? Do they have a GED? We'll ask what month and year you're going to graduate or have graduated. Then we ask for which high school. It's a little weird here, so you'll type in your high school in this box. They'll give you a drop down, you click the school, and then the school will populate under here. Then you will give your date of birth. If you transferred from the FAFSA, date of birth will automatically transfer over. Then you can choose up to 3 colleges on our application. Our application will link to all of the colleges that were put on the FAFSA. So if the student wants to put extra colleges in the application, so they can. We won't talk back to the FAFSA to tell them an extra 3 schools. Just a heads up. Student will put their 3 colleges, or 1 or 2 if they want. Then they'll answer a couple questions. Are you a member of the National Guard? It's really hard to read it. Do you actively participate in the Iowa State Fair? Are you or were you currently in foster care after the age of 16? Were you adopted? So these are really strategic questions for all of those programs that I told you about at the very beginning. And then it'll ask, as of today, are you enrolled in high school, enrolled in college, serving in the military, or none of the above? If you say enrolled in high school, which you should, the student hasn't graduated high school yet, they're not enrolled in college yet, enrolled in high school, that's when it will populate that All Iowa Opportunity Scholarship application for the student to complete. So these are all strategic, and it'll only pop up questions based off of the answers that they've answered on their Iowa Financial Aid application. Step 3, it'll give that little grid saying, here's the 3 colleges you picked, here are the programs that you may or may not be eligible for at each college. So you notice some of the programs go across the board, some of the programs are only for not-for-profit schools, some of the programs are just community college. But it will tell you, based off the character here, what's required. A lot of our programs, we only require the FAFSA. So after this, they'll click apply now and say, go fill out your FAFSA. That's all the information we're going to get, because that's all they needed to do for our programs. If there's additional applications, it will populate the next application page for them to complete.
Does this automatically apply to the Kibbe and Future Iowa? Is that behind this?
So as long as they fill out the FAFSA,
Yeah.
If they go to this screen, they fill out the application, it'll go to this screen, and it'll tell them, like Iowa Tuition Grant, it'll just have a little character there, and it'll say the FAFSA is the only thing required. So when they go to apply now, if they're only eligible for KV, tech, anything that just requires the FAFSA, they're going to get a confirmation page that says, if you haven't done so already, you need to complete the FAFSA.
So it knows which ones they're eligible for already?
Based off the questions they've answered already. Doesn't know if they're eligible for KV or tech. It can only assume based off of the schools that you've chosen on your IB.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're need-based. We don't get the FAFSAs for a couple weeks, so we can't link it up directly right there, but we can transfer some data over to our application. Each of the programs have a link. They're linked, so students can click on them, and it'll take them to our website and get them more details about every single program that's listed on this page. If they've transferred over from the FAFSA, their first name, last name, date of birth, social security number, everything should fill in. They'll need to confirm their social security number and confirm their email address. And then that's all they need to complete on this page. If they want texting alerts from the scholarship and grant system, they'll check this box and enter in their cell phone number, and then we'll text them updates or about the stuff that they need to do. Then they'll click save and continue at the bottom. And then they'll get them specific applications. So National Guard, they'll ask them, are they Army or Air National Guard? What division were they in? When did they plan on going to school? If it's ETV, which is the one for foster care, we ask them what their caseworker's email address is and ask them to verify if they were in foster care. So that was really simple. The state fair application, it does time out after 20 minutes, and they're required to write like 5 essays, 250 words each. So for the state fair application, we recommend students complete it in Word and then copy and paste it into the application.
I can see, because it's kind of little, where you ask for their high school, is it just the high school they're at right now, or is it like a list of high school students?
Just the high school that they're going to graduate from. We use that to verify the GPAs or verify that the student did in fact graduate from high school. Here's what good. Okay. I have scenarios here. This one hopefully is easy. So Maria was adopted from foster care at the age of 14. She is now a high school senior and lives with her adoptive parents, whose financial information should be on the FAFSA. Independent. So she only has to put her own because she was adopted on or after the age of 13. Some of these are really tough, and I feel like I went through this really quickly. So let's go to. So Joe has $10,000 in a 529 college savings plan set up by his parents. Joe's parents also set up accounts for Joe's 2 younger sisters at $5,000 each. Apparently Joe's parents like Joe better than the sisters. Okay, should Joe's 529 be included on the FAFSA?
Yes.
Yes?
Under his parent section.
Parents.
Good. So Joe's grandma also set up an account for Joe in the amount of $5,000. Where should that amount go?
No.
Good. So it doesn't go on there yet. Second year, say they use that 529 plan to pay some of the college expenses.
It's Joe's, as like additional income.
Yep, money paid on your behalf. Okay. I think we're doing really good. I want to open the floor to any more questions that you guys have.
Let's see more scenarios. I want to see scenarios.
Rita's parents own and operate 150 acres of farmland. That farmland is worth $5,000 an acre, and the family owes $200,000 on the land. Should the land be included in assets?
No.
Does she live on it?
Not if she lives on it or can see it.
That's what it depends, if they live on it, or in my personal opinion, if they can see it from where they're living. It does not be, it's not included. So say they don't live on it. Say they live in a different state. But it's
Well, you have to
current value
calculate it.
minus.
150, right?
Yeah, so 850 acres times $5,000 an acre minus 200,000.
So 150 doesn't mean it makes you
Yes.
you talked about it, but students who are in like a legal guardianship, like both of their parents or one parent is incarcerated and they live with grandma, the legal guardian, are they independent or are you reporting grandma's taxes?
In a legal guardianship, it's at a certain age on the FAFSA, under 14. So depending on how it was on or after 14, okay, it has to be a legal guardianship. There needs to be more documentation so that the student can participate.
Okay, but if they were in that guardianship since 12, then you're reporting grandma? No, oh, okay.
Because if they were in at 12, then they're in at 16, it has to have 14.
Oh, okay, now, okay.
Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit more about, maybe it's obvious, but about incarcerated parents? Just like, in general, like what we would be thinking about whether they count as parents or whether they don't.
So if parents are incarcerated, then those parents don't need to be. That's one of the,
It was whatever they're not.
one of the extra, yeah. Are we ready to do a little bit of a half situation?
0.
Why 0?
Because it's not more than 100 employees.
Well,
Or
they
they
don't
own
all
over
work
50%.
Okay, so that's kind of tricky, because it's and, so they have to own more than 50%, and they have to have fewer than 100 employees, like in order for it to not be included.
Wait, say that again. They have to own more than 50%?
I
They
thought
have
it
to
meant
own more than
14.
50%, and have less than 100 employees.
So since they only own 20% of the business, it has to be included?
Yes.
I read that wrong.
Why? What's the reasoning behind that rule? Okay, I just want to know why that makes sense. Like,
I think it was just written in the law, and that's what it is. So it has to, it's an and statement, and it's, your business is not included if parents own more than 50%, or family owns more than 50%, and 100 or fewer employees. And there are 100 or fewer employees. Yep. Don't worry, as you're filling out the FAFSA, there's a little chart right there on the side when you answer that question. So if they say, I don't know.
Rather you own a bigger company and you not have to report it than a small.
No, they
It
would
just says
rather
and,
own
that's all.
more of the company.
They want you to own more with fewer employees.
So if you have
it's
small
more
business,
manageable because it's like your smaller business.
This
But
is
you
the
could
trick
own
question.
lots and lots of money of a big business.
Like you could own 49% of a company that had 28,000 employees and not have to report
You
it.
still have to report it. Because it's an and statement. You have to own more than 50%, and it has to be 100 or fewer. That's the only way you cannot.
So what's the answer?
75,000.
Yes. 75,000.
But you reported 20%.
Sometimes in fact, it really is.
25, so it's 20.
So they own 20% of the business.
So 20% of 500,000 minus 125.
That's 28.
500 minus 125, and 20% of that. I should use something.
Have to have a small business, less than 100.
I was thinking the same thing too.
Yeah, it's just.
So if you own a
500,000.
company, like if you were the sole proprietor of a company that had 100 employees,
It's 100 or fewer.
then you wouldn't have.
But if they have 100 or fewer,
And why should you own it and have 100 employees?
I did
You
like
don't have to reflect your statuses, but only own 20% of it.
because it's your sole income. Like it's probably an investment.
Yeah, that's what I think that's really looked at.
Whereas if you own 75 or 100% of it, then that's probably your business, that's probably your job.
it doesn't come up that often. Most of the time, they fit both and.
So we do have about 15 left.
And 529,000.